Alright guys, so I'm taking a look at a trail camera. Now this trail camera is very compact size, very small. And on the inside here, you can see it takes 4 AA batteries. It has a small LCD screen and 3 buttons for navigation. They also include a handy little reference guide of sorts, so you can use this. So if you were to hold down, touch the button, you can take a picture. If you hold down the button, you can go into the menu. If you hold down the other button, you can go into playback, so you can look at the video and images that have been recorded. And it's got an off and on button. So overall, very simple, waterproof obviously, and it does seem to be no problem. It's been through multiple rainstorms. It's been through temperatures below freezing, and it attaches. You can see on the back here, it's got these sort of textured area, these little spikes. So it attaches really easily with the little included strap. Now I did have a large amount of fraying. You can see after it frayed, I just took and melted it so that it wouldn't keep fraying with the lighter. But after only about 3 weeks, it had a lot of fraying on the end. So I don't know if this one was already pre-damaged or what the situation was that caused that, but that was an issue that we ran into with this. And it does have a mounting point here. It also has an optional power port here, so if you wanted to add some type of external power source, you could do so. Maybe even solar, I'm not sure exactly, if you wanted to try to adapt it. But it has this portion here, and the reason for that is you can screw this in and then use this base, and you can mount this, so you can kind of adjust it however you want. We just chose to use the strap, and then they do include some little anchors and screws, so you can actually mount that in case you want to do that. In addition, there is the warranty/registration card. I believe this is kind of a thank you for your purchase, and if you have any problems, contact us type of a card. A user manual, and this particular model is the HC100. This is the little box that it comes in. Nothing too over the top fancy there. And then it comes with the strap that I mentioned. So battery life is not bad. It probably uses, I guess it really depends on the scenario, the situation, as far as how much is triggering it. But with not a whole lot being triggered, it seems to use probably, I'd say, in the neighborhood of 10% per week of battery, roughly. That's obviously going to be vastly different depending on how much it's triggered. It is 1080p, 16 megapixel as far as the pictures go, 1080p on the video. Supports up to 32 gig micro SD cards, of course, like class 6. I think it's class 6 cards. So it's all in the documentation you can check out on the Amazon listing. It does have night vision. There is a little red light that I saw flashing. You can set it into different modes, like a time-lapse mode and different things. So that's all of the features. Well, that's some of the features. That's some of the specifics of it. I said not very big. You can see the size of the batteries. It's probably the size of AA batteries stacked, one on top of another as far as the overall, roughly size and everything. And it's not much wider than 4 batteries, so you can see the width. So all of that's good. It seems to be really nicely made and everything. Here's the problem. 3 weeks, and I kept putting it back out and double checking all the settings, and at one point it seems to flip itself from camera and video simultaneous type mode to only camera mode. It seemed to have done that more than one time. I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like I said everything right. I guess you could say I've more than triple checked, because each time I said it on the 3 different occasions, I had checked it multiple times. So 6 times possibly, by at least double checking it each one of the 3 times that I've put it out for a week and then come back and checked it. And I ran into some different issues. The first week I formatted the card, and it appeared to be working, formatted in the camera, and waited a week and took it out and put it in the computer and read it. Tried it 2 different computers just in case, and I had not really great results at all, because I had no video and only photos, and it seemed like it was the same photo over and over so many times, like 50 plus times, and that was it. And then there were tons of other images, but all of those were unreadable. So that was weird. And then the second week, it did photo, well, it didn't have really much of any photos because it didn't get triggered a lot, and every photo basically that was on there was unreadable again. It did format this time. The first time when I formatted it, still had files from the previous camera that it was in, even though it said it formatted. The second time, it apparently formatted properly because those files were gone. The third time, and I was 100% certain, and I had someone else double check and go through the menu, and they confirmed it was on video and picture mode, set to the highest quality, and I think it was set for like 30 seconds or something for the amount of clips. So we were pretty confident that it was working, and then power was on. And after it had been out there for a while, I went back and walked past it so I could make sure I triggered it in hopes that I would have video and or an image to reference. And the light on the front lit up, so I knew that it detected motion, so it was still operational. And then I came back earlier today and picked it up, and I pulled the car down, into the back of the yard where it was set up at, and walked over to it and took it off the pole, took it inside, tried to review the files on the camera itself, and the only ones that showed up were ones that were about a week old, where I had manually pushed the button to take a photo of my parents' dog inside the house. And after that, I expected to see something else, expected to see myself walking in front of it, and end result was the only thing I had on there was 3 of the pictures I took manually of my parents' dog, just playing around with it, and 1 other photo multiple times duplicated again, and it was of my car with the door open, sitting right there in front of the camera. And then I carried it in the car, still on, inside, and it never did take any other photos of any of that. If it did, they were unviewable because, again, I had a huge folder, and there were about 3 or 4 video files. Every one of those errored out, could not be played back for whatever reason, on a computer that plays back other video files perfectly fine, and using a player that is like one of the most widely used compatible players around, VLC, just to be certain, because that is pretty much a failsafe. You can't go wrong. So no videos were viewable. The SD card we know works. Worked in the other camera fine, so it's definitely not the card. And all of the photos were either cannot render file, cannot open file type, error message again, or the only photos were the ones I took and the ones that picked up just from today. So maybe it's overwritten some of the others, but protected the ones that you take when you manually take pictures. I don't know, but it's supposed to be set to looping and everything. And I almost never crack instructions because it's very easy to figure out just about anything and everything, I think, because I'm been into tech for so many years. But yeah, this just does not work well, or does not work well for me. So maybe I have a faulty camera. Maybe it's this entire, the HC100 model. I don't know. Maybe results are going to vary, but I had very, very poor luck with this. So I'm going to say read the other reviews, make sure, double check everything about it. The night vision, daytime, it didn't seem to matter. It just doesn't seem to work well for me. Night vision appeared to be active because, again, the red light triggered it. So that's it. I guess I'll try to throw like the only usable photo off of the camera in here just so you can see what that image looks like. I honestly don't know what the quality is set to. I'll probably try to remember to check the picture quality properties and everything with the photo itself. Yeah, the picture quality looked okay, I guess, but I don't know, it was set to the highest, 16, I think it's 16 megapixel. So anyway, that's it. My recommendation is to look at some of their other models or another brand. At this point, I just don't see this one being the best option. And I've tried, like, again, 3 different times for 3 different weeks. No good results from any of those, and so many files not readable. From a known working good SD card that works fine in a GoPro, which I imagine if it works with a GoPro doing 4K video, then it's going to work perfectly fine in this camera doing 1080p. So that's pretty much it. I'll leave a link below if you want to find out more. Otherwise, you can look at the picture right quick and see what it looks like, and I'll try to remember to include the parameters of that photo. Okay? Sorry I couldn't include any video, but none of them can be rendered. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.